Hi, my name is Catherine Jarrett, and I would like to talk about cash versus accrual accounting. There are two methods under which you can do your accounting: the cash method and the accrual method. The cash method of accounting is focused on the inflows and the outflows of cash. Accrual method of accounting focuses on when revenue was actually earned and when expenses were actually incurred. So which method should you use? Things to consider are the cash method. This is the easiest method, but not necessarily the most accurate. The cash method of accounting is best used by very small nonprofits with no paid staff, no set programs, and little to no plans for expansion. The accrual method should be used by organizations starting out with larger amounts of funding, paid staff, and plans to raise additional funds from larger donors. Generally accepted accounting principles also require that the use of the accrual method of accounting. If you wish to have an audit done under generally accepted accounting principles, you should use the accrual method of accounting. Some states also require that you use this method. We must also remember that each approach has its limitations. If you're using the cash accounting, remember that the results may not reflect your true performance in each period. If you use the accrual accounting method, remember that it's measuring your profits, not your cash. So you'll also need to keep careful track of your cash flow. Now imagine that you perform the following transactions in a month of business. You send out an invoice for $5,000 for a web design project that was completed this month. You receive a bill for $1,000 in developer fees for work that was done this month. You paid out $75 in fees for a bill that you received last month, and you received $1,000 from a client for a project that was invoiced last month. Using the cash basis method, the profit for this month would be $925. So that's $1,000 in income minus $75 in fees. If you use the accrual method, the profit for this month would be $4,000, which is $5,000 in income minus $1,000 in developers' fees. So this example kind of shows us how the appearance of income stream and cash flow can be affected by the accounting process that is used. Now, imagine that using the same example that it took place between November and December of 2013. One of the differences between cash and accrual accounting is that they affect which tax year income and expenses are recorded in. So, using the cash basis accounting method, the income is recorded when you receive it, whereas with the accrual method, income is recorded when you earn it. Following this example, if you're using the accrual-based accounting, if you invoice a client for $5,000 in December of 2013, you would record that transaction as part of your 2013 income and thus pay taxes on it, even if you end up receiving the payment in January of 2014. So how do you decide which to choose? You'll need to choose an accounting method when you file your first tax return, and then use it consistently on all subsequent returns. A trusted CPA can help you determine which accounting method is best for your business. You do have to be aware that some businesses are required to use the accrual method, so the specifics of your business may dictate which one you choose. If you decide to change your accounting methods, you would have to file a Form 3115 to get approval from the IRS to do that. Other than personal preferences, there are a few factors to consider when deciding if you wanted to use the cash or the accrual accounting methods. One thing to consider is the size and type of company you run. Those are major determining factors. For instance, all corporations, excluding S corporations, that generate over $5 million in gross annual revenues are restricted from using the cash accounting method. Businesses that keep inventory to sell to customers must use the accrual method when it comes to that inventory. This is an Internal Revenue Service requirement. In some cases, businesses apply the accrual method to their inventory, while the cash method is used for other expenses and income. The accrual method is more difficult to report from a tax perspective, though financial services experts can easily handle this aspect. Cash accounting doesn't give you much insight into your overall business health, and as far as sales or expected income or expected expenses go. We always want to remember the ethical issues that are related to any accounting method that we're using. And so, as it relates to cash and accrual accounting, one thing to consider is that the burden of the company to succeed is at a high level, and it may place undue stress and pressure on the accountants that handle these processes. The ethical issue for these accountants becomes maintaining true reporting without giving in to the pressures that are placed on them by management or corporate officers. Unethical accountants could easily alter the company's financial records and maneuver numbers to paint false pictures of company successes. And while this may lead to a short-term prosperity for the company, altered financial records will ultimately lead to the destruction of that company. So, the Bible tells us that no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. God bless.